What's going on, fellow humans and resellers? It is I, James, streetadoptionagency.com, 24 years selling full-time on eBay. And we've got 1 month in from my new numbers routine. Well, we're at the end of a month for my new numbers routine. How about that? So we're going to go over all the numbers for the yesterday and for the month and for the year up to date. Topic of choice today, I think got a good reception on the video yesterday. You guys kind of like that. I'm going to kind of spin off of that one today, I guess, and get into, again, this is all off the top of my head, so I'm sure it won't be 100% thorough, but we're going to get into YouTube gurus. We'll just get into all that. But first, let's get into my notes for yesterday because, again, yesterday was filled with problems. What seems, let me see if that came through. Yeah, eventually. All right, so yesterday I noticed that my sales kind of shut off at 5 o'clock. And then I sold one item at 5:45. But the email never came through. So something's going on the back end that made when you sell an item come to my email box, the emails come through stopped. And that happened again this morning, but now it's here. So it was a delay in that one this morning. So yesterday it didn't come through. This morning there was a delay. So something changed on the back end to create that. So between 5 and 10 p.m. last night, I sold one item. So again, we've got those long hours of shutdown for my media store that just come out of nowhere. And then I had sales. I had 3 sales in the 10 o'clock hour, 3 in the 11 o'clock hour, and then looks like I had one big order at 1:30, and then nothing till 8:30 this morning. So again, overnight seemed like a shutdown. Had that shutdown during the day yesterday, but my numbers are still okay compared to the shutdown. So that's at least a good sign that's going into all this, is even with these problems, I'm still getting okay numbers. Not where I think I should be, but if I didn't get those shutdowns in the middle of the night, didn't get those 3 to 7 hour shutdowns during the day, my stores together would be pulling $1,100-$1,200 a day. That's the battle I'm battling, is trying to get those numbers back with all the eBay issues that are going on the backside that's preventing some way or another sales from not happening, whether that's the offers not working, whether that's checkout not working. And these have just been things that's been known issues on and off for the complete 2025. So there are roadblocks on the eBay website that is preventing sales for at least some sellers on some servers consistently. So my battle is right now is trying to get enough inventory up so that my problem-filled days numbers keep going up, and they are. Before I was 2 years ago they were $500. Then they've been steadily going up, and now they've been averaging, I think not last month but the month before now, I think the average day was 800 and something. Last month I think it's going to be about 750 or so. So we were down from the month before, but there was more problems in September than there was the month before. And that's you could probably document that on the videos where I talk about them. So we're headed into October. We're in fourth quarter. Don't forget your supplies. Fourth quarter is going to open up your free supplies if you have an eBay store. So what's it going to look like? It's still going to be, you know, I wish for one fourth quarter, eBay would just leave the website alone. Just fix the problems as they come up broken, but stop adding new stuff, because we all know that it just breaks other stuff and causes more problems. I just wish for one fourth quarter they would leave the site alone and just work on the fixes. That would be the ideal fourth quarter. Oh no, my notes said, okay, my notes accounted for the 545, and then one sold at 8:30 and the email never came through. And no, it did not come through. Okay, so yesterday an email did not come through of a sale at 8:35, and I checked, it was a cassette, and that email still has not come through. Let me get the exact title so I can check for sure. Public Image Limited. See if it came in later. What? Come on. Go. No. So that email never came through. So I'm wondering if, see, eBay's trying to do across the board where when an item sells, it doesn't sell. It stays listed until the person pays. My new account is set up that way. I hate it. Even though I have it turned off, it still works that way, because it hurts multiple piece order sales, because they have to sell it, they have to pay individually, then I have to ship them together, and then I have to go in and refund money. It's just a pain in the butt, and it deters multi-piece sales. Thankfully, as of before yesterday, my old media account is not set up that way, and I gotta, if this one converts to that, it's going to be a disaster, because I sell so much multi-piece orders. It's probably going to really hurt this store. Now, was yesterday that email not coming through, the one today where it's delayed, is that signs that this old account is starting to convert over to that? Because they've been converting us for 2+ years now, and they still haven't got it across the board. So that should tell you something, that something's not right, something's not working properly. They're not pushing it through for a reason. It's a long, messy update, whatever the case. There's something to the reason they've been working on that rollout for a couple of years now, and it still hasn't come across the whole board. So I hope that's not the case, because I think that would really kill this store. The amount of offers I get every day, and then they just put them together. And then I have the buy two, get two free. And if you add them to cart, it shouldn't affect that portion of it. It's going to affect the offer portion of it. And I get a lot of offers every day. So those were my notes yesterday. And so yesterday I ended up doing 12 videos for YouTube. What List Easier has allowed me to do is have more time to get more, just, as you know, I've been working on the structure of the business and keeping everything flowing and keeping everything consistent on that first week. And in the second week, I integrated concentrating more onto YouTube, being more consistent on 3 channels. So my main one here, then my Urban Picker channel, and my Pimp Master of Stuff channel. And I have videos now. For one channel, it's backed up to like October 15th, every other day. The other one is like October 10th or something, 12th, somewhere in there, for every other day. And in this channel, I have shipping videos for the evening, every other evening, backed up for about a week and a half, 2 weeks, something like that. So I'm backing up all those so that those channels stay consistent, in hopes that that helps the YouTube algorithm feed more views to it. And then I could get those other 2 channels monetized also. But one of them, I need 3,000 watch hours. You need 4 total. I need 3,000 on one and 3,500 on another. So I'm really far away when it comes to the watch hours. But I only need, say, 250 subscribers roughly for those two channels a piece. So closer there than the watch hours. So hopefully the consistency will get more people to watch the videos at least and get the watch hours up, and then hope eventually turn them into monetization channels. And what I'm doing is just recording what I do. That's my whole goal in this project, and I kind of like it because I'm kind of using it as my creative outlet. Where how can I create videos with what I already do? So the time that takes to do those is only increased a little bit, as opposed to, doing a video that has nothing to do with the business, or like this. I stop everything to make this video, right? Those videos I don't necessarily stop. I just record my processes. It slows the processes down a little bit, but with the time that I've made from listing stuff with List Easier, it allows that time to concentrate on those other little projects. And I'm having fun doing it. And even had a new idea yesterday, since I got this mechanical keyboard with the ASMR. So I'm learning more about that, paying more attention to that, because you have those nice clicks. I love that sound. That's why I buy mechanical keyboards. And I got this new one here, which is nice and clean and lit up. So I thought about just sitting the camera here, pointing at the keyboard as I type my items in to see if I already have them listed or not. Again, just recording something I already do and trying to turn that into a revenue stream. So I might try that today and put it on the Life's Too Short for Pants channel. Because then if I can get that one with something consistent, then that'll help that one to start grow too. And then I could have 4 channels that are monetized if I can keep consistent videos coming out on all 4 of them. So I'm probably going to do that today and do a little one just to see how it goes, and learn more about what tags to use and things like that, and just play with the idea and see what happens with it, and then where does it go from there. So playing with all these little ideas. And now to get into the subject, let's change my thought process. Yesterday's video got a lot of good feedback, got a lot of good reactions. And if you did not watch it, you can go back and check out yesterday's video, where I just talk about the opposite of what so many YouTubers talk about. They talk about the safe way to build a business, or to build your reseller store. How about that? It's not really building a business. It's building a consistent, slow, safe eBay store. Where I came in with the attitude of, if you know what you're doing, you know where you're going, you know your goal, go all in, go strong. You make your money when you buy. Don't be fearful of running up debt if you have total confidence in your knowledge base of what you're selling, and you have the numbers to back it up on the performance level, knowing that if you grew your inventory or whatever by X, that your income would go up by X. Knowing all your numbers, doing those predictions. That's why when if you watch my videos, you know that I've been always very on point almost with, today's going to be an X number of day. I should do X number here because I know my numbers and I know what history of my products do and have done. That's why you saw those 2 years or so of me just complaining, like, not just me, but several YouTubers trying to figure out what's going on with eBay when they implemented started doing the server changes and sales just crashed. Trying to figure out what's going on because it didn't fall into the normal history and the normal prediction that it should have been going. Something was skewing those numbers. Something was roadblocking the norm or the normality of the product. and the business and the store, the sales. And that's why there was 2 years there of scratching your head going, what the hell's going on here? And other good-sized sellers were doing the same thing. Josh Galt, for one of them, just trying to figure out something's not right here. These numbers are not adding up. It's not supposed to. What is causing these numbers to go this way? And when it's something that you're in control of, it's easy to figure out and you can pivot. But when it's an outside force going against you, you're like, you don't have any clue what's going on. So it's harder to understand, harder to pivot, at least for me. And it took me a good 2 years to just say, F it, let's just change course. Let's just go full volume as much as we can and just hope for the best. And sadly, that's not a good way to run business, is going hope for the best. You should know your numbers. Now, so if you're selling a product and you know what you're getting, even in the day of the broken eBay website days, if you're getting a consistent number and a consistent change with your inventory growth or whatever like that, don't be afraid to go all in, even if that means racking up debt, because it's a business. You got to take chances somewhere, somehow, if you want to grow a long-term business and something to live on, instead of working a 9 to 5 somebody else. So that brings me again back to the YouTube videos of so many people who just talk these numbers and talk these procedures and talk STR and talk one way. How about that? They all seem to talk one direction, one way. When there's not one business that's going to be exactly the same as another. You can blanket and say, oh, but it's all reselling and it's all on eBay. Even if you put a blanket on it like that, it's still not the same as someone else. There's always going to be X factors in there that's going to change for every person depending on where they are, what they're sourcing, all of the above, what they have access to, their sources, their area of the country. All of those are going to be X factors into the difference between you and them. So you can never, ever try to compare yourself with somebody else and what they're doing, because you're not them. You're not where they are. You're not, even when it comes down to work ethics, you don't know what their work ethics are. They could be spending more time creating that YouTube video than they do actually work in their eBay store. Well, that's a detriment. Is that the right word? That's a downfall for you, because you're not seeing the true amount of work that's really being put into it. So you may be thinking one thing while another thing is the reality, and that's detriment. That is a detriment to your business. Did I say that the first time? I don't remember. It just didn't click. So what you need to do is figure out your goal. First and foremost, your goal. What's your end story? Where do you want to be? That's what you need to figure out first. Is it based on a certain amount of number that you need every month to make life comfortable? Is it you want to grow a big ass store? What is your goal? Because that's going to allow you to take different chances than somebody else would, or even take a chance when nobody else will. If you know your goal, you know your numbers, you don't need to be worrying about what somebody on YouTube is saying and telling you. All you need to be worried about is, if you're listening to videos, you're just taking in nuggets that you can intertwine within your business, not model your business after theirs. Excuse me. Because like I said, there's too many variables that's going to make you different from them. And I guarantee you, if they're putting out videos that are all edited and polished, they're probably putting in more time into their YouTube channel because they want to make that a bigger revenue stream to support their eBay. I can tell you, there's, just from the outside looking in, there is a clothing seller out there And I do more numbers than that person, but that person has a facility they work out of. They have employees, okay? There's no way they're making less than I am, still buying inventory. So that cost per item with employees, at least 2, and with an overhead of a store, of a warehouse. There's no way they are surviving on eBay alone, right? So they have to make a polished YouTube video to get that revenue in for YouTube that supports that eBay business. And if you don't realize that and you don't understand it because you're new or you don't know numbers, you don't know your numbers, so you clearly won't know their numbers, right? You're not going to see that, and you're going to get a false reading, a false feel of what's really going on. And you're going to think, well, if I do everything this person's doing, then I'm going to succeed. But yet you don't realize that their success is based on how good and how well their YouTube channel does. So that's false. So you have to wipe all those people on YouTube out of the equation when it comes to modeling your business, what you do exactly like somebody else. And that includes myself also. You don't have 5 storage areas filled with paid product that you've bought over the last 24 years. So your situation is going to be different. So you can't, now can you model from the beginning and start and build? Yes, but that's, again, you're still not going to be doing it the same. You're just going to be taking pieces from my model and intertwining what works into your model. That makes sense. I was trying not to get tripped over words there. So I think that's the key thing I wanted you to take out of this video is figure out your goal first and foremost, and do not model yourself like another seller. Because it will lead down to the downfall, because you're not going to see, get, or understand, or maybe you don't watch every video by that person, so you're going to miss things. You're not going to understand the whole picture 100% for whatever reason, whether you missed a video or whether they're just not sharing it. You're not going to see it 100%. And that's why I try to be totally transparent on a daily basis with all my stuff, so you can see everything and you can pull what works for you and implement it, if you can, into your model. But the first foremost is figure out your goal. And then know your numbers, pay attention to your numbers. Like I wrote them down every day in front of me, and that's what I do now, and I'm going to read those numbers to you. And that's just so you understand what you may be capable of and or not capable of doing. So that should be enough on that topic. Let's get into the numbers. All right, so we're at the end of the month. So I had to redo yesterday's on the month to date and the year to date. So we'll go over everything right now. So like I said, I did 12 videos yesterday, and then I had all my other stuff I had to do too. So, but I did get 191 items listed yesterday. So, I need to average 200 a day, every day, to make my goal. So I'm definitely, kind of, where am I at? 758. I need to be at 1,500. So yeah, I'm definitely behind. The 8 ball there. Also, because my run listed so far this week is 758 items. Only sold 35 yesterday on the media store. Sold 19 on the clothing store, with a total of 54 items sold yesterday. So that's been the lowest of the week so far. Running total sold this week, 247 items. Media store made $480 yesterday. So almost my 500 limit I like. And then my clothing store, again, over the 250 limit at 314. So that's a positive. taking the day to $794, even with those shutdowns, that 5 hour or whatever from 5 to 10 o'clock and then the overnight shutdown. I'm still pushing $800 with those issues on the last couple of days. Like I've said before, can you imagine if the errors weren't there? You could see the potential that my store should be doing. But again, I'm concentrating on changing, not worrying about that and just trying to list so much that even on a problem-filled day, I will have $1,000 day. So then if everything ever comes back around and is working again, then I could have a $1,500 day every day type of thing. So that's what I'm shooting for, trying to keep it positive, right? With a run total this week of $3,086. All right, so I didn't do the piece count. I didn't redo the piece count, so we'll just keep it at this. So the number of items in my store right now is 87,716, not counting the 192 I listed yesterday, minus what sold. So month to date, so last day of the month was yesterday. The media store did $14,178 last month. Clothing store did $7,843, bringing the total to $22,021. I think that was down. It was down a little bit. I don't remember, 16% or something from the month before. So it definitely was a good chunk down, maybe 12%, somewhere in there. So it was a good chunk down, maybe about $2,000 less than the month before, unfortunately. So boo on that. Boo-hoo. Year to date, media store $126,274. Clothing store $79,004, bringing the year to date total at $205,278. So that's where we are, as we are shooting for 300,000, but may get stuck at about 285,000. So we'll see. We will see. Again, that's going to depend on some factors. How well is the eBay website working? How much am I listing? And how much am I converting my old product over to List Easier and AI to get better sell-through on that stuff? So those are the three ifs on how the end of the year will turn out. Because I got the product, just got to keep pushing it through. All right. So, as I said, I did 12 videos yesterday. So I've got an 8-part series coming out on the Urban Picker channel, where I pull a box out of storage from 10 years ago. And there was like maybe about 200 CDs in there. It might have been more than 200 CDs, actually. But I turned that into an 8-part series where I just did one stack at a time out of the box. And just did like an 8-part series on that, just to do something different. And I scheduled it every day starting October 13th. So for 8 days, you'll have one of those videos from that 8-part series. So I did that to do something a little different, just getting creative again, trying to do stuff different, trying different things. Using YouTube as my creative outlet. Now I just need to buckle down more on the thumbnails and stuff like that. So that's some of the stuff I just leave it as the screenshot or whatever it shows up. So I don't really do much to it. So, but that's what's going on. So just enjoying my days. All right, that's enough for me. I gotta get to work. Thanks, everybody. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel. check out my other channel. Subscribe to that. I would appreciate them. All the subs you give to those. And I will see you all in the next video. Later.